Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Motorsport Lab. And today we are going to talk about whether F1's plan to use a reverse grid on the qualifying races will work when we return racing. Now, the thing is, the unanimity among the 10 teams is required for the plan to be voted through and then approved by the FIA World Motorsport Council. A formal vote will take place next week. Reverse grid races have been discussed regularly over the past couple of years, and having run simulations, most teams were opposed. However, the concept came into play again during an online meeting of team principals and the FIA and F1 last Friday. With the longer-term financial and technical rules now settled, the Friday meeting focused on plans for the initial 8-race European calendar that starts in Austria next month, and how behind closed doors events will operate. Reverse grids are an attempt by Liberty Media and the FIA to add interest to the second race weekend at the same venue at a time when TV companies have questioned the value of doubleheader races, and they are also seen as a trial for possible more extensive use in 2022. So, this is what I'm liking about the FIA. They're using this as an experiment for future years. Maybe in the new regulations we could see different formats for the weekends, qualifying races, 2 races, I don't know, sprint, feature race, like they do in Formula 2 and Formula 3. I think it's the right call from the FIA because this season is pretty much done, if you ask me. I feel like everyone's just like, ugh, just get the year done with. But I'm starting to be a bit excited because of these kind of new innovations, I guess you could call them, new ideas that they're going to go with. And I think it's something we haven't seen the FIA do for very long. And I think it's smart. Now, I've seen people ask, if your cars are out of the points in weekend 1, isn't there an incentive to then just finish as low as possible for better grid position in next week's qualifying race? Now, the other question is also what happens to DNF cars from the weekend before. Where do they start the qualifying race? I imagine, as I've seen Will Earl, go check out his channel, Formula Podcast 1, but he said the second point, I imagine it would just be reverse order in which they retired. Someone who crashed on lap 1 would start ahead of someone who retired on lap 10. The first point is worrying though, and this is replying to Ollie TGS F1's tweet, and go check out his channel as well. Now, I definitely agree with Will here. I think that's the way it will work. Number 1, if your cars are out of the points weekend 1, isn't there an incentive to then just finish as low as possible? Yeah, that... I didn't think about this really. Thank you for shedding some light on this. I don't know what they should do here. If you want to have a good position, theoretically, you would just finish as low as possible. And then next week, you would start the qualifying race in a good position. And now I'm seeing Will here say, yeah, it could be like Monza qualifying from last year, but in a race situation. And the more I think about it, the more dangerous it sounds. I guess the only solution would be to award points to all positions, but I can't see them doing that. Exactly. This is where it's just a bit of a shambles. What on earth can they possibly do? Because if you've got guys just finishing in, say, as I said, 17th, then they start first. I think the option here is to do reverse grid of maybe the top 16, top 15, I'd say. Because then you give the incentive that if you do not push and try and get into that top 15 bubble, you will have to start where you finish. I think every team except Mercedes of all teams has opposed against putting a fresh experiment with the reverse grid qualifying races when the racing does resume, and unless the team changes its mind, the initiative won't go ahead. So basically, it's all up to Mercedes. It shouldn't be their choice. FIA need to make this decision. I get it's kind of, you want all the teams to be happy, but you've got 9 that are happy by the looks of it, and 1 that isn't, and you're gonna just stick with what that one person says. Rubbish. Complete rubbish, I'd say. But let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll keep you posted. I believe we're getting a full European calendar shortly. They said early June they'll be releasing the calendar, and that could be any time. But I'll keep my Twitter refreshing, and when we get the news, I'll be straight on the case, like I was with both Williams news. And I understand now that Williams video that I just posted, I think yesterday when this will be posted, was, I think, false. But I don't think I'll take it down. I might. Until we get 100% news that it is false, that's when I'll take the video down, because I don't want to be putting out false information on my channel. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys.
Just